Hey everyone, we're still celebrating the 30th anniversary of Photoshop, and we are doing our 30 tips to celebrate. And right now is part 3 of a 3-part series, so I've got 10 more tips for you right now. Hey Cafe crew, Colin Smith here from photoshopCAFE, and we're at part 3 of our 3-part series of 30 tips inside of Photoshop to celebrate Photoshop's 30th birthday. So I've already got 20 in part 1 and part 2, and I'll be honest, I went way over. There's more like 15 or 20 tips in each one, but I've got 10 tips for you right now. All right, before we jump in, just a quick 30 seconds of nostalgia. We've been kind of touching on different things in each of these series. By the way, when it went to Creative Suite, this here was the full Creative Suite Master Collection. This one here is CS3. This is Production Premium. Why is the box so big? Trust me, it's super heavy too. I'm going to show you what's inside. All right, these are things a lot of you have never seen before. User manuals. That's right. And if we look at it here, this used to be the Adobe Photoshop CS3 user manual. Look at that. Total of 825 wonderful pages. Now, I'm not going to say I've read this from cover to cover, but I definitely have read most of this. Yep, believe it or not, I'm that nerdy. I used to sit there and this used to be my bedtime reading. So we've got the user manuals for all the different products right there. All right, let's jump in and have a look at our tips right now. Okay, so the first one we're going to look at right now is getting all our text layers above into a nice group, nice and organized, super easy. So this is a composite that I did. This is my buddy Lon. I did the photography and of course all the compositing and everything for this. If you want to see more of my work, don't forget to follow me on Instagram, also Twitter and Facebook at photoshopCAFE. All right, let's have a look at this with the text. We've got text layers all over the place, spread throughout the document. This one's not bad, but sometimes you can have documents with hundreds of layers and they're very difficult to find. So the first thing we're going to do is go up under our layer filtering, and that's what all of this is. I wonder how many of you use it. Let me know in the comments if you do use these. And we're just going to choose type. Now before I do, notice where the type is. We've got a couple of layers there. We've got some here. We've got a missing font there. You know, it doesn't matter. Let's just hit T for type. Gets rid of everything except for the text. So now I want to select all the text. So grab the first one, hold down the Shift key, click on the bottom. Now I've selected all the text layers. Now, if I turn off the filtering, notice all the layers show, but the text layers are still selected. So obviously you can also do this for things like pixel layers, adjustment layers, smart objects, not just text layers. But we want to get these on the top. This is what we do. Click, and as we drag, notice all those selected layers are going to move together. Go up to the very top, and you'll see a single blue line at the top means we're moving everything to the top. Release, and look at that. All the text layers now are sitting above everything. Because very often you're going to put the text above, you know, as text overlays, and sometimes they can get underneath adjustments and different things like that. Now, if I want to put these in a group, Control G or Command G, and we'll just call it text. Now we've got all our text layers, and we can preview this with and without text all at once. All right, the next thing we're going to do is let's create a adjustment here. We're just going to go under the, I don't know, let's grab a curves adjustment here. Or actually, why don't we do a solid color? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this to colorize everything underneath. So why don't we grab something like a yellow color, and I'm just going to click OK. And then we're just going to change the blend mode of this to color. All right, so we're applying the color. Now here's the tip. What we want to do is we want to adjust the opacity. Wherever you see a field, any number field, when there's text at the side, you can click and drag on the side, and that will adjust the settings. So we can adjust our opacity by dragging. This is known as Scrubby Sliders. Here's the thing a lot of people didn't know. If there's no text to it, and you're just over this field, if you hold down the Control key, and it would be Command key, you can click and drag in here to invoke your Scrubby Sliders. So you don't have to type into any number field. Okay, a couple more tips of that. If I want this to go super fast, if I hold down the Shift key and drag, this will go 10 times as fast. Notice it goes 0 to 100 in half a second. Now, if I want to go slower so I get more control over it, hold down the Alt or the Option key, and now it's going to move at 1/10 of the speed, and notice now I can go in here and I can adjust this incrementally by individual steps. And if we look at that, see what we've done there with the color, now it looks a lot better and we can control it very easily. Sometimes we want to find the lightest and darkest point of the image for different types of adjustments. Let's go underneath the text because we know the text is white, so that would be the brightest part. So outside of that, what we're going to do is we're going to go down here and we're just going to create a levels adjustment. So what we did is we clicked on color, see, beneath the text, adjustment layer here, levels. All right, so if we hold down the Alt or the Option key and click and drag from here, notice what this does is this shows the clipping in the shadows. So this enables me to find the darkest point in the image, which is where detail starts to appear first. If I release the Alt or the Option key, I can tap and see what's happening. So I notice just here is the darkest point of the image. So if you ever need that, you can do it. And for the brightest part of the image, hold down Alt or Option and click and drag, and notice as we do that, you see the clipping now. And if we go all the way back, you'll see that the brightest part of the image is right there. So why would you need to find the lightest and darkest part of the image? For different types of coloring effects and also for adjusting. So it just kind of helps you with adjusting the images so you know what's kind of clipping and what isn't when you lighten and darken the images. All right, let's load the luminosity. What do I mean by the luminosity? Let's load the brightest parts of this entire image. The way to do that is to go down under the channels, and then we're going to click on RGB, and then just hold down the Control or Command key and click. And notice when we do this, we load in all the lightest parts of the image. That's the luminosity. So why would we use this? Well, we can do all kinds of effects with it. If I was to go up under the top here maybe and create a new layer and fill these areas with white, which would be the background color there, which would be Control or Command Delete. And let's turn it off. So what we've done now is we've loaded up white into the brightest parts of the image. And if we want to show and hide all the other layers, and this is another tip here, notice how we've got some layers turned on and some off. So if we right click and show hide all other layers, it's going to forget the visibility. So here's a really useful thing. If you hold down the Alt or the Option key and click on that eye, now we can preview that layer, and you can see here, see how the white parts are showing brighter. So it's definitely working on that luminosity. Now, going back to that tip, to show and hide and remember where everything is, hit the Alt or the Option key, click on the eye again, and now this shows and hides all the other layers, but look at that, it remembers their visibility state. So what we could do with this, now that we've created this brighter kind of luminosity, we can do things like go into overlay mode and do different types of effects. Like, let's give us a little bit of a blur. Kind of gives us that, kind of a, kind of like a dreamy glow. And we'll take this opacity and we're going to drop it all the way down and just bring it in just a little bit. There we go. And if we look at this before and after, see what we're doing? We're just kind of giving it just kind of an effect. It's kind of a, a dreamy glow. Okay, here's a fun one. I'm going to create a new layer on top. And this is a super step and repeat kind of effect. All right, so in a new layer, why don't we just grab our brush? I'm just going to set it to white and just kind of make a little curve thing. That'll work. And I'm just going to give it, just to taper the ends a little bit, I'm just going to give it a little bit of a blur. So we're just going to choose Filter, Blur, and we're going to do a motion blur. That's the angle there. Follow that angle here, like that. And that's kind of cool. So it's starting to create a little bit of a motion trail. Now this is where it gets good. If I take this, let me make it just a little bit smaller so we can really see it better. And drag it, let's drag it over here. Watch this. I want to rotate that from this point. So hit Control T or Command T and I want to rotate it. But now here's the thing. If I rotate it, notice it rotates from the middle. I want to rotate it from here. So what I need to do is move the point, but notice that point is gone, the anchor point. In Photoshop 2020, if you go up under this little box here and turn it on, you'll now see the anchor point. I can move it to the corner, it'll snap to that corner, and now if I rotate, it's gonna rotate from that corner. So I'm just gonna rotate it a little bit and I'm gonna hit enter. Now I wanna create a series of these and have them rotate the same way. So what I wanna do is remember the previous rotation. So if I hit the Alt or the Option key, that's gonna duplicate. I'm gonna hold down Shift Command or that Shift Control on Windows and T. And notice what happens as I do this each time. It creates another copy and I can go all the way around and make this nice shape. Hit the Shift key to select it. And look at that. We can create these types of shapes or any kinds of shapes very, very easily by using our super step and repeat. Let me just put these into a group. Control G will get those into a group. And I want to center these on the page. Well, how do you find the center of a page? Let me show you a great little way. If we go up under View, and then we go down to New Guide Layout, this is where we can create guides. But check this out. If I change the column to 2, set the gutter to 0, set the row to 2, set the gutter to 0, and then click OK. This is actually going to give me the center of the page. And now I can just go here and I can move that and snap it to the center of the page just like that. And if I want to get rid of these, I just simply go under View and then just go to Clear Guides. So let's zoom in a little bit closer. Now, if I want to move around, I can hold the spacebar to move around, but there's a faster way, and that's bird's eye view. Hit the H key for hand, click and hold, you'll now see a little rectangle, and you can put this rectangle over the area you want to view, release, and it goes in there and fills it right up. H for hand, click, and now we can just move around. So this is bird's eye view. Command 0 will fit it on the screen again. That would be Control 0 on Windows. Okay, what if I want to do something with a layer style? I want to put a drop shadow on this group. So I'm just going to choose Effects and I'm going to go down to a drop shadow. Now we're going to set our drop shadow to black. And this is just the default settings, opacity 100. And we can set our distance. And a size, of course, is going to make it soft or hard. So here's the thing. When it comes to positioning this, we can move around with this angle here. Or we can click and drag inside the document. And as I do that, notice I can move that shadow around. Now you might find there's a little bit of a bug inside of the current version of CC 2020, which means that if you try to move this and it doesn't work, all you need to do is just click OK to apply it, double click on the drop shadow, go back in, and now you will be able to drag it around. And so we can do that and change the size to make it a little softer. So I encourage you to use your creativity in the way you apply these tips to your work. I'm curious, you guys learn anything new? Did you like this? Let me know in the comments underneath. And if I get enough comments and enough likes on this, I'll consider giving you a bonus 4th part. So if you want that, smash the like button and add a comment and let me know. But I still want to know, what was your favorite tip out of all of these tips? And by the way, if you're new here to Photoshop Cafe, or you've never subscribed before, consider hitting that subscribe button right now, and you're going to get a new tutorial from me every week. And also consider ringing that notification bell so you're going to be notified when I upload a new tutorial, which is every single week. And by the way, if you guys are subscribed, check that you've turned on the notifications. Because if you haven't turned on those notifications, YouTube's not going to let you know when I upload. So, that's why you're not part of the notification squad, because you haven't turned them on. All right, guys, if you like this, smash the like button into dust. And until next time, I'll see you at the cafe. Sound booth. Sound booth. So it'll be Encore, Sound Booth, Ultra, On Location. What's this thing?